Good morning, fans and non-fans. I'm back for part 2 of Attack on Titan. We talked a lot about Paradia. We talked a little bit about Marley, and we progressed the story. You learned about characters like Mikasa, Armin, Levi. You learned about Aaron Yeager, Zeke Yeager, Grisha Yeager, Aaron Kruger. And then the female Titan, Annie, the armored Titan. You learned about Berthel, or the colossal Titan at the time. You learned about how Titans can have their powers transferred by a mindless Titan eating the human form of one of the 9 Titans, which is how they transform. So there's so much that we learned here in a short amount of time. It's really better for you if you watch the show to keep up and understand what the heck is going on. This explanation of the show is decent, but it's not that good, right? Our goal though isn't to have some spectacular, cool explanation. Our goal really is to get to the crux of the situation, talk about morality, philosophy, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, and this is going to correlate to our Gaza conflict. So that's our real intention, and that is our real goal. I talked to you a little bit about Marley. You know that Zeke Yeager is Aaron Yeager's brother, actually. And Zeke Yeager grew up in Marley. Zeke Yeager had an expectation to be a warrior. I told you about how Zeke Yeager became the Beast Titan. He betrayed his parents, who's Grisha Yeager, and his mother, who is actually royalty. His mother is royalty, so if his mother was to inherit the founding Titan, his mother would have the ability to go to the past and give Ymir command. However, the renunciation of war would mess all that up. But it's important to notice that Zeke Yeager's mother is royalty. Back to Paradia. So what happens in this show is a lot of death. A lot of people die. At something these kids appear to be maybe age 14, age 15, these kids begin to train. You have to understand there's a huge difference between the capabilities of Paradia and the capabilities of Marley. When we're thinking about Paradia, we're talking about literal swords. And these swords, I think, are the kind of like swords where you can rip off the top and then continue to use the sharp piece. Have you ever had that box cutter where you just like rip one little piece off and you can continue to use it? That's kind of what their swords look like. But these swords, of course, are like, I don't know, 4 foot long swords, and they hold 2 in their hand at once. And then they have this special kind of equipment. I think it's called ODM equipment, but it is strapped around their body and to their hips, and protruding or shooting past our hips are these kinds of spears or harpoons, you could kind of call them, I guess. And they attach to structures like rocks, tile, it would seem, trees, and things like that. And they're able to fling through the air like incredibly fast. It's incredibly effective, and it's amazing that they can do it. I'm not sure how they're able to harpoon structures like rocks and trees and then make it detach. That part doesn't actually make much sense to me. I feel like I would attach to a rock and then I wouldn't be able to unattach, and then I'd be dead within the first 60 seconds of the show. But for some reason these people are really able to do it. So that's how Paradia fights. Paradia doesn't have guns. They don't have cannons. They don't have, airships. They don't have boats that can travel on the sea. They really have nothing. They are a country that is still learning. So the way to look at it is, back in the day, the reason that they were so advanced compared to the other civilizations was because of their Titan powers, not because of their innovations. Because of the renunciation of war and the wiping of all the Paradian slash Eldians' memories, they had a difficulty advancing, and it stopped their advancement insofar as their innovations, their weapons productions, and things like that. So actually, all these countries around Paradia are much more advanced. Marley has guns, pistols, I believe, rifles. I mean, sniper rifles like you would find in America today. I swear that thing was a 50 cal that this stupid little hoe Gabi was shooting in the show. What else do they got? Man, they got tons of airships, so they have air superiority, and that's how they brought the Titans over. They got trains. Man, in Paradia, you don't see trains, you don't see airships. I mean, it's kind of crazy how far back Paradia is insofar as advancement in their technology. It's actually kind of freaking crazy. So I'm painting you a picture here. Marley is the superior force, far superior force. And at the time that the present time that we're talking about, back when Aaron was a kid and Aaron is starting this process, Marley has like the Warhammer Titan, the Beast Titan, the Jaws Titan, the Female Titan, the Cart Titan. Am I forgetting anybody else, man? Frick, the Colossal Titan. So they have six, seven, eight, six. So I think they have seven Titans, and uh, the Attack Titan is, I think, the only Titan, and the Founding Titan is the only Titan that Paradia has. Those are their two. That's their defense, and whoever has the Founding Titan is practically useless and won't do crap. So there's that. They just kind of suck. Uh, what else do we got here? Marley is also a nation that starts their soldiers off fighting earlier. They do risk some of their own Marleyan lives in their military, of course, that's needed. The military leaders are Marleyans, while the inferior in the military, or the subjects in the military, I suppose you could say, are going to be Eldians, because the Eldians are considered devils. They are the people who terrorized the whole world for something like 1500 to 1000 years. So as far as Marleyans are seeing, is the way that they're treating the Eldians is what they deserve, and the way the Eldians see it is the way that they're being treated. The ones in Marley, of course, the Eldians and Marley think that they're being treated fairly, and that that's what they deserve for what they've done to the rest of the world. So they think that their job is to kill other devils such as them, but they're the good Eldians because they're with Marley. So they seem to think that they have more of a right to live. So as you can imagine, these Eldian people in Marley are just kind of retarded. So that's the scenario there. During this time that we're talking about in Paradia, the Eldians in Paradia are not aware of how the Titan powers work. They're not aware of what mindless Titans are. They've figured out how to kill them pretty effectively, but there is so much that they don't know. They don't know that they're humans that were turned into Titans. These people in Paradia are truly just flying blind. They are in practically the worst position ever, and they've been left with no means of defending themselves, especially if they were to lose the Founding Titan. Now, what is the intention of the people of Marley with the Eldians? Well, guess what? It's genocide. They want to wipe the people of Eldia off the face of the earth, and they're willing to kill as many Eldians in Paradia as they need to be able to do this. They don't have any consideration for their life. They are also aware of the situation in Paradia, that they do not have a memory of the past and what might have occurred. They are also, these generations are also a generation that didn't do anything to each other. So it's more like, oh wow, I'm 12, 14 years old. You killed my grandpa. I'm going to kill you. That's what the Marleyans are thinking here. The Paradians are like, oh wow, we have no memory of what happened last generation. All we know is, well, we're here and we're inside these walls and there's these random freaking Titans. We know a little bit of lies, and no one in Paradia really knows the truth about the past. They don't know about what they are or what they've done. So they are in just a difficult position as they're in a knowledge deficit. So this kind of is the first point that we really need to focus on when we're talking about morality, who's in the right and who's in the wrong, is what you know matters. With the knowledge that you have matters. Your knowledge about history, your knowledge about the present time and how you got there, your knowledge about weapons, your knowledge about your enemy. All these things matter when we're talking about morality during foreign affairs. So we're going to be putting a huge chart out after we're done talking about AOT and we do the actual comparison for morality. We're going to be charting all this out within these details of were they looking for peace? Do they have knowledge? Are they seeking justice? All these kinds of things. So I've kind of explained to you the environment in Marley. And the environment in Marley is that the Eldians are evil. They need to be rid of them and they shouldn't exist. They're devils. The Paradians' outlook is, well, we don't know who you are. We have no idea really who we are. And we are just trying to survive. So you have a superior force just crushing an inferior force who has no chance of survival. At the time that Annie and Berthold and the and the armored Titan attacked Paradia for the first time when Eren was a child, which is the case in which his mom died. The first attack from them was the attack in which Eren's mom died. What we saw in the first attack when Eren's mom died is we realized that Paradia really had no defense. They actually had no Titan at all that came out to oppose them and fix this situation. By the time that those Titans had attacked, Aaron's father was actually already gone and Aaron had ate his father. So the reality was actually is the two Titans that existed in in uh in Paradia were the attack and the founding. What you'll find later, however, is that Annie, Berthold, and the Attack Titan, Raynor, that's his name, Reiner, came over with actually four Titans to attack Paradia. So it was going to be four Titans versus, well, the attack and the founding if they would have worked together. But since Aaron's dad killed the founding and took it, there was now only one Titan. And this Titan had no royal blood, so it didn't really matter. Plus the renunciation of war. I mean, you're just kind of screwed all around. So the Marleyan soldiers, Annie, Berthold, Reiner, they brought a fourth person actually, and that was supposed to be, I believe, the Cart Titan, or maybe it was the Jaw Titan. It might have been the Jaw Titan. I can't really remember. But however, they brought this kid over, and a mindless Titan actually got one of the people in their party, so they were down to a party of three. So they continued on the mission. So actually, Paradia at this time has three Titans out of the nine that they can use, and that Titan does kind of somewhat help, but not insofar as getting rid of like the female Titan or the colossal Titan. That Titan just kind of saves some soldiers, but if you watch the show and you see how many people die, it it's within the best interest of Paradia that anybody that can be saved is saved. Because when I say that people die, I'm talking Levi, the main scout, the guy that you're gonna love and you think is going to be an absolute beast. Watch this show. He loses everybody. He loses everybody. There is an incredible commander in Paradia. His name is Irwin. And Irwin is a strategic logistics leader. Amazing. I mean, brilliant, incredible intelligence. Now, he takes some pretty hefty risks, which end up getting a lot of his soldiers dead. But when you're flying blind the way he is without any knowledge about these freaking 10-foot 20-foot giants that are coming at you, well, heck, man, he simply made the sacrifices that he saw fit, and he had some small victories, but each one of those small victories led to Aaron Yeager, which is what was needed for the existence of Paradia and the survival of the people of Paradia was Aaron Yeager. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. There are so many people who owe their lives and their existence to Aaron Yeager. He was the only Titan that stood between them and the colossal, armored, and female Titan. Without him, watch the show, without Aaron Yeager or without any Titan at all, you tell me what you think would have happened to the people of Paradia. I don't see them surviving. I'd love to hear your case for it. Go ahead and comment down, but I don't see them surviving. There's no freaking way. There's no freaking way. Aaron Yeager, because of what he could do, because of his powers, because of who he is, he was able to push their research by leaps and bounds. They were able to figure out so many things so quick, and the connection that he had with his father, and he knew about a secret book or guideline about Titans down in his old home attic. Because of this connection with his father, he was able to get that research for the people of Paradia, and that was able to fill in so many gaps, and everybody began to understand. Not only that, but Aaron had a connection with the Attack Titan, which allowed him to see all the past memories of the previous Titans. There's more to come with that, but keep following. Keep following. When Aaron Yeager joins the military, no one is aware that Aaron Yeager is a Titan, and neither is Aaron. Aaron has absolutely no idea. And it's going to take him a little bit to gain his memories back. Sometimes when you are a mindless Titan and you eat a conscious Titan or the human form of one of the nine, you have a little memory lapse in which you're not able to remember maybe who you ate, how it happened, and stuff like that. That was Aaron's situation, but Aaron was also just a child when his father put the spinal fluid into him, had him eat him, and then yeah, that all happened when Aaron was just a very little kid. And the reason that Aaron's dad did this is because, well, some Aaron, somewhere, sometime told him to. That's why he does this. Because he wanted to find a different way, but Aaron, somewhere, sometime, said that this was the way. So back to the military. When Aaron began in the military, no one knew that he was a Titan, and him, Armin, Mikasa, they all joined the military after the very first wall was attacked and their village was ravaged. Aaron lost his mom. Mikasa She already lost her parents. Armin, who knows where the frick his parents were. Anyhow, they all left everything in the past. They joined the military and they are destined to change everything. During this time, they train for some time, they finally graduate, they have choices for where they can go. They can go to the MP unit, they can go to the scout unit, or they can go to the interior unit or whatever. There's a law enforcement unit, there's a home front unit, and then there's a scout unit. So I think it's three, if I remember right. It doesn't really matter. But anyhow, all of them end up eventually in the scouts unit. The scouts unit is, well, accepting about everybody, and that's because something like 75% of the scout unit that you see in the beginning will be dead. Pretty much all of them are just going to be dead. That's the crazy part about this show, is the amount of people that just get slaughtered and that just die is actually unbelievable. You have to see this to believe it. When I say this story is gory. It's a little bit dissatisfying in some sense, or maybe if you're a sick little bastard, you think it's satisfying. I have no idea. But watch this show for yourself. You have to get the visuals to see these battles that are going on with the ODM gear and the swords and all that kind of stuff. Now, Eren as a Titan is going to have certain responsibilities and certain obligations. The military figures out that Eren is a Titan when he grows into the Titan after he saves Armin's life from a mindless Titan. He actually he almost gets swallowed by this mindless Titan. Then it activates for him because he gets injured. So remember, when one of the nine in their human forms bleeds or gets injured in some type of way, they are actually able to immediately become a Titan at will. So it's not like you cut yourself and you have to become a Titan. It's more like, I've cut myself, I'm ready to become a Titan whenever I need to be for whatever purposes. Eren falls inside of this mindless Titan. Eren turns into the attack Titan for the first time, and this is Paradia's first time ever seeing this Titan. Eren, as the attack Titan, doesn't have recollection quite yet. He doesn't have control of himself. All he knows is he wants to kill these mindless Titans within the walls. So that's what Eren's Titan starts doing. However, when the military finds out that Eren is this attack Titan, they threaten Titan. They threaten Eren. They're threatened by Eren. They're super concerned, so they do the stupidest shit that you can do, and they think that maybe they want to kill Eren and get rid of their best chance of survival. But that's just what stupid, weak leaders do sometimes. And luckily for us in this story, there was a competent, strong leader by the name of Erwin, and another one, older guy. I can't remember his name. I think he was head of the MP unit, like Peak or some crap like that, man. I can't remember. Watch the show, okay? These two leaders were in cahoots with each other and actually agreed that they were going to need Eren if they were ever going to win this war. Having one of the nine on their side, at this time they still don't know what the frick one of the nine is, but having one of the nine on their side was going to absolutely turn around this battle. Now, Marley has so many gosh dang Titans that if they all attacked Paradia at once, Paradia would have no chance even with Eren. Eren is untrained. He's all these other Titans in Marley, all these kids are trained from a much younger age than in Paradia. These little Eldian kids in Marley are trained from age like 12 or some crazy thing, 10 years old, to become soldiers. And they get to watch the I don't know, 6 of the 9 Titans fight. They get to watch how they approach problems. They get to learn from them firsthand. And Eren was practically just thrown into the dark, told good luck. So Eren doesn't have the experience or the fighting capabilities immediately anyways, as the other, 9 Titan holders would have. And Oh, you know what happens next? You know what happens next, man? My boy Aaron, he becomes an absolute unit. He plugs up a hole in some wall to protect people. He carries, I mean, this huge freaking boulder. He gets rid of mindless titans for them. He goes on to help them fight the colossal titan. It turns out at the end of this that Aaron is actually the one who cuts out the colossal titan. He absolutely kicks the the armored titan's butt, and I mean, Aaron just goes crazy, man. I mean, you needed this guy. But there were also important characters in all these fights who were incredibly important as well. You had Levi, the best soldier there is, Ackerman, and then after him was Mikasa. Ackerman, also an incredible soldier who fought well, who was super important to the story. Erwin, strategic, logical. You needed him for the story. Armin, also strategic and logical. We needed them to advance the story, and we needed them for our victories. Even though Aaron was a major piece to this, I don't want you guys to forget about the absolute hundreds of lives that were lost. Without these hundreds of lives lost, Aaron wouldn't have been successful. Each one of those soldiers were important and they played their role. Unfortunately, they ended up dead. Unfortunately, that was the art of war at that time, and that's what happens when you're fighting a superior nation. Is a lot of people end up dead, and that's the reality. Unfortunately, Marley never reached out and seeked any kind of peace with Eldia. They went straight to killing and murdering them. I think that's a pretty dang big problem. As we progress through this story, they use different means and different methods. There's different battles that occur. Eventually, they take down the armored titan, but the armored titan actually gets away. Levi takes down the beast titan, but the beast titan eventually gets away as well. They take down the female titan, mostly due to Aaron. They get her. She crystallizes herself, so you can't experiment on her or anything like that. Her special ability is, after all, hardening. So we got rid of the colossal. They get rid of the colossal titan later. That was Aaron's doing. During the fight for getting rid of the colossal titan, they actually lose Erwin, their main commander, and the smartest person probably on that entire show. They lose Erwin, and they have to choose between Armin and Erwin. They end up choosing Armin and giving Armin the Colossal Titan. Well, and so now that means that Paradia has Aaron, with the Attack Titan, the Founding Titan, and they have the Colossal Titan. However, they did end up losing that Cart Titan, and her name was Ymir. She was kind of her name was Ymir. She was kind of a little oddball piece in the show that you weren't expecting. And this is not the Ymir like the founding Titan Ymir. Her name just happened to be Ymir, and she was that person who ate the fourth member of the party of Annie and Berthold and Rainer, So she actually ended up dying later on in the show. She gets taken back by the Marleyans to Marley, and she's given to someone to eat. So they absolutely screw her over. The reason that she was willing to give up her life was for this girl in this story. Her name is Historia. And Historia is a member of the royal family. Now, like I said, you can have the founding titan have all these cool abilities, but it doesn't matter if you're not royalty. So Aaron, for so a little bit going through the story during some battle, there is a female titan, which is Zeke Yeager's mom, actually, who was brought from Marley to Paradia. This titan was going to kill a member of Aaron's party, and Aaron puts out his fists and he makes contact with this female titan. That's Zeke Yeager's mom. And all of a sudden you see some kind of command that's allowed to go through to this titan, and Aaron has this titan stop. The reason that Aaron was able to do this was because Aaron had contact with royalty. So it ends up that you don't just have to have the blood, actually just being able to be in contact with royalty gives you the ability to control different titans or use the founding titan powers. It also turns out that Zeke Yeager then is also royalty, and it turns out that Historia is royalty, and Historia is a character in the show who I think is part of the Rice family that they're called. And this family is the family that Grisha Yeager, Aaron's dad, attacks. That's Historia's family. And Grisha Yeager kills Historia's like mom or something like that, I think. And so there is a point in this show where Aaron and the other team members are brought down to this kind of chasm where Grisha Yeager actually went. It's the place of the royal family. It's all crystallized and it's made by a titan. But whatever, the Rice family captures Aaron. They bring Historia down there, and this guy is actually Historia's dad. And he tells Historia to take the spinal fluid and to eat Aaron Yeager to be able to gain the founding titan, the attack titan, and she would be royalty. So you would think she'd be able to do anything, but it turns out that there was the renunciation of war. So the people of Paradia would still need an entirely different plan to fix kind of what's happened here. So unfortunately, this is a story of it's a story of death. It's incredibly sad. So many of the people that you see end up dying. They are no more. And that's the main part of the story. Watch it. Watch it, man. Like, experience the death. Tell me what you think. That's what happens in wars. Wars aren't nice. There are no rules to war. That's made up crap that we just make up, and they're nice, right? They're sentimental, and if they're followed, they're great. But no one actually has to follow any of that trash. No one. That's just not how war works. Reality is kill or be killed. And this was Aaron's reality. He adjusted to that, and he did what he thought was right. I'm going to stop here. Please take a moment to subscribe if you like this stuff. Let me know what you think about integrating this anime kind of content into it on the occasion. I'd like to do movie reviews on the occasion to kind of make points and make it interesting. Let me know. Give me a click. Give me a like if you think that this is something that you'd like to see a little bit more. This has been a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I like anime. I also like other TV series, and I think storytelling is a great way to get a good message across. So if that's something that interests you guys, give me a like, subscribe over here. Let's start growing this channel. Tell me what you want to see. I'm gonna try to put that out. And as you can see, I've been practicing, man. I was so out of practice when it came to this kind of stuff, but I'm glad I've finally done this. This is a dream come true. It's been so much fun. I will be putting out more shorts, of course. People seem to be eating up the shorts. I'll be putting more of those out. Keep looking for them. Tell me what you think. I'm just kind of having fun with them right now. But if there's something I could change, let me know. As always, thank you guys.